Welcome to the next installment of this geography course. So the new unit we are starting now is about the environment and global change. The topics we are going to cover, starting today with changing climate, followed by soil degradation, freshwater vital resource, and threatened oceans. And finally, we are going to explore our ecological footprint. Let's start with climate change. It's something you are all very familiar with. Some probably you've learned about it in different subjects, including chemistry and biology. So I don't need to share too many of the facts here. I found this picture quite revealing what the consequences of the changing climate are. First of all, we mustn't forget that obviously temperature change is a natural process. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's not something new. What has changed now is the way the global temperature changes. And in the last 100 years, apparently the temperature has risen by 0.8 degrees, which doesn't sound as much as its impact on the environment is. So let's look at the greenhouse effect. Again, something that we use a lot, and you hear it on the news quite often. But what we don't realize is that the greenhouse effect is a good thing, because if you look at this, um, you will see that the average temperature of the world, of the Earth, would be minus 18 degrees if it wasn't for the greenhouse gases or the greenhouse effect. So the carbon dioxide and the methane and the water vapor in the air creates this blanket which keeps our Earth's average temperature at about 15 degrees, which, let's be honest, is a little bit more livable than the minus 18 degrees. We don't really want to have that, do we? So then, what's wrong with global warming? Well, global warming is a consequence of an increasing greenhouse gases, and I found it quite revealing little graph that shows you how much the different sectors, industrial sectors, contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. And as you see, we spend a lot of time convincing people that, oh yes, you have to be very conscious of it at home. But all the greenhouse gas emission coming from households is 10.3%, and that's all residential, commercial, and other sources. So it's still a lot, but it's not as big as, for example, power stations or the agricultural byproducts, or fossil fuel retrieval and processing and distribution. So, as you can see, there are many other factors that contribute, not to mention transportation fuels, which is a substantial source of increase in greenhouse gases. Okay, so what happens due to global warming? Here are a few things, but there will be a change in the rain and snow pattern, changes in animal migration and life cycles, and you can see how that is going to have a knock-on effect on a lot of other things. That's so nice. Stronger storms, higher temperatures and more waves, more droughts and wildfires, and thawing permafrost. At water level, the corals are going to be damaged, the sea level is going to rise. and we will have warmer ocean. And of course, it will eventually lead to changes in planet's life cycle as well. Just an example, looking at the Alps coming from Germany, obviously this is quite relevant to all of us. The Alps, the snow-capped mountains of the Alps. While the average temperature of Germany only rose by about 0.9 degrees over the last 100 years, uh, during the same period of time in the Alps, the increase was 1.5 degrees centigrade. So it's a massive difference. It's a huge, huge difference in and the consequences of this warming is obviously more extreme weather, unpredictable weather, more rain than snow, fewer days of frost, rapidly decreasing area covered by glaciers. Apparently, um, the area covered by glaciers by now is about 50% of what it used to be in the 1850s, which is quite warming. And of course, the changes in the alpine flora. These plants have spent millions of years adjusting to cold climate, and now very, very suddenly, within 100 years, the temperature changes mean that the alpine flora that has adapted to the cold weather is now finding it very difficult to survive in the warm weather. And the economical consequences of less snow, fewer opportunities, and shorter periods for winter sports has a massive economical impact on the area. Obviously, we've been aware of this for quite a while, and scientists have been talking about it for a very long time. Unfortunately, not much has been done. The Kyoto Protocol, set up in 1997, was supposed to respond to the problems caused by global warming and the increased emission of greenhouse gases. So this is why the more economically developed countries, as you can see the beautiful abbreviation there, MEDCs, the more economically developed countries came to an agreement that they would try to decrease their greenhouse gas emissions, especially CO2 emissions, to the 1990s level. This sounded like a good idea at the time. Unfortunately, two of the leading countries and two of the biggest polluters, the United States of America and Australia, have refused, consistently refused to take part in in the Kyoto Protocol. And this is why you can see quite a few cartoons making fun of America's attitude. Japan and Europe sitting in the water already, uh, looking at America and quoting him, says he'll wait for the water to reach him. So nothing's going to happen. I also like this one, which just goes to show how slow and painful this process has been. So it's settled then. We agreed to sign a pledge to hold another meeting to consider changing course at a date yet to be determined, which quite simply just means that nothing's going to happen. But this was it. And just because this is a surprise, and those of you who actually watch the video will know it, I am going to tell you the questions that I'm going to ask you on in Thursday's quiz. So here are the questions. What would be the Earth's temperature without the greenhouse effect? What materials cause greenhouse effect? Mention three sources of greenhouse gas increase. Mention at least five consequences of global warming. And why do you think the Kyoto Protocol is not as successful as it should be? Please write minimum 50 words. On Thursday, you will have about 15 minutes to write the answers to these questions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you later on today. Bye.